Hey, what's up? What's going on? Arvin here. Let's get it on with some Porsche action here. So, if you like this kind of content, be sure to subscribe to my channel. And the first thing we're going to do here is I'm going to be sketching on a post-it note sketch, and I strongly encourage you to do that. You don't have to sketch on a fresh sheet of paper, large sheet of paper. Just using post-it note sketches or post-it notes are just a great way to kind of take away the intimidation factor. When I start off with any kind of car, it's really important to understand the proportions of the vehicle. So for a Porsche or any kind of sports car, you usually have about 2.5 wheel spacings between the front and the rear wheel. So I roughly kind of map out my side view here of what the front wheel diameter is going to be, and then I just take that same diameter and I just space that out with 2.5 wheel spacings, and then I mark that up with a vertical line here, as you can see, and then I drop in my rear wheel. Now the height of this is going to be a little shy of 2 wheel diameters in height, and so just make sure that you don't make your car too tall, because you want to make sure that the roof line of your Porsche is sticking to the correct proportions. And then from there, what I do is that as I'm looking at my photo reference, I am looking generally at these block shapes. So I'm going to start with understanding where the rear spoiler is on this reference photograph. I'm going to try to understand how far back the window is going to be, the side window, and where that ends up to in relationship to the rear wheel. So you can see here that my window, the side window here, is going to end up roughly about halfway, or half the diameter of the rear wheel. So I just sort of drop that line in there. Now for every other detail on the car, whether it's going to be the door cut lines or any other feature like the headlamps and the front nose of the vehicle, it's the same thing. I have to really consider and map things out according to that wheel diameter. So I'm going to see, alright, where's this door cut line in relationship to how many wheel spaces I have between the front and rear wheel. So for instance, here you can see the door cut line after 2.5 wheel spacings. I've got my the cut line for the door that matches up to the rear of the door, and then I have just about 1/4 of a wheel spacing or diameter of the wheel for where the cut line of the front of the door is going to be, right? Because you don't want the door to be like right up against the tire, right? That's just it's not even a feasible thing. So as you're drawing these things, you have to keep all those things in mind and make sure that the proportions and the placement of all these details are really important. Otherwise it's just going to look weird. The other thing about these, I mean, just think about if you even reduce the wheel spaces together and brought them together, then it just looks awkward, right? You end up with what would look like a toy car, and that's what they do with actual toys. I mean, when you make toys, your wheels are going to be really big. They're not going to be as spaced as far apart, and they're going to be bulky, and that's kind of how toys, or the proportions of toys, typically are. They're like between 1.5 and 2 wheel spacings apart for the diameter. Alright, now when I'm finished with some of these details, I'm just adding some cross hatching here. I've added some details here for the wheels, and these are just real quick. You don't have to spend a lot of time with it and put a lot of detail or anything like that. So I'm just about wrapping this thing up. Just gonna add a little bit more shading here just to pop out the wheels. And that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any other questions, comment below. We'll see you next time on Driven to Draw. Have a good one.